All right, guys. We at the first episode of Play Your Part podcast. We're going to start from where the screen is. Start with me. My name is Brandon Burgess, aka B Squared. Go ahead, Kevin.
The Swedish Amelia Earhart. We out here.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Yo, I'm Brad, aka B Red G from the Boo.
So you're not the curator no more. You're not curating no more.
You know I'm the curator.
Yeah, forever.
That's me.
Yeah. We're gonna always start with the same format. We all branched off of the Heartbreak City podcast. We kind of grew up from that situation. Kind of everybody got kids, wives, and significant others, and kind of grown up over the years, and kind of had to go from this. So say what?
I said, don't put that evil on me. Ain't no kids or no wives out here.
Yeah, we always, even from the Heartbreak City days, we're not including you with that. You just had a conversation with us about the other conversations. I'm gonna put that on that's gonna be the Patreon conference. That's gonna be the Patreon episodes, the deleted scenes of Kevin. But
I'm still here,
yeah, okay. So we're gonna start off with yeah.
Pay that $9.99.
So we're going to start off with pretty much what this podcast is pretty much us talking about, sports, music, movies, and kind of transparency and self-awareness about, everyday life. So we're going to start with Kevin talking about Amari Cooper. This is not Amari Cooper, excuse me. I'm trying to give you some new stuff. We're going to talk about Calvin Ridley's suspension and why he got suspended. So go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Amari Cooper, welcome to the Browns. We're glad to have you. I said, I am excited. Even though we're getting rid of Jarvis Landry, I'm going to miss that guy. But Amari Cooper, I'm happy about. But what we're going to talk about is the Calvin Ridley thing. About him betting on games last year. He got suspended for this whole upcoming season. Apparently, he did one of those parlay things. We see the commercials everywhere. It's that like those Caesar apps, where you can just bet on you bet on. The parlay thing is where you bet on every game that's happening that day. And if you win somehow, it's very rare. If you somehow chose all of the correct games or winnings, you win a lot of money. And Calvin Ridley bet $1,500 on a parlay one week. My thing is that I don't think he knew that what he was doing was wrong. I said, he was wrong for tweeting out after the fact, because he tweeted out after he got caught. He was like, I'm not an addict. I just bet 1 week. But I said he couldn't have known that what he was doing was wrong, because from what they said was that he used his name, number one wide receiver on an NFL team. I used my name and I used my phone to bet on NFL games, including the team that I'm playing for. Also, I didn't think it was that big of a deal because even though he has insider, because he probably talks to a lot of other players, he was not playing last year. Like, he played 4 games last year. I don't think what he did warrants a whole year suspension. But it is the talk of the sports world because, you can't bet on games when you're actually on the team.
Well, to kind of follow up with that, he only betted on a couple games, and it was actually betting for his team, and we all know the Falcons are trash. Yeah. So it's not like he was having some Pete Rose insight there where he has some kind of control physically of the outcome of those games, unless he went over there and got a 9-iron and busted Matt Ryan across his back of his head to make sure he don't play. But he didn't do none of that. So the one thing it is it looks bad to the league is because because they think it's betting on a sport that you're currently on a team with. He wasn't playing, yes, but he was still on the roster getting paid. So that was the whole point and the problem with it. Now, does it grant him or warrant him a whole year suspension? No, because this is not Pete Rose. Pete Rose was doing it for years, man, and he benefited all betting on baseball. Calvin Ridley was on the sidelines for the majority of the season. So the only thing he was over there betting on was he should have bet on his team to lose. Now, if they did that, then would it be wrong if he bet on his team to lose? His team was not even good. Everybody knows that. But it's just like to a point where, like, yeah, but why punish? Terrible team. Yeah, and I would say, but a bad team. But me, it's personally, if you want to punish him, just punish him for 6 games. Suspend him for 6 games.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen the worst of the worst only get suspended for like 6 to 8 games, and they did way worse than what Calvin Ridley did?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Deshaun Watson just tap danced and didn't get indicted on none of those no criminal charges, so where he can get traded. Can we not say that the system's not rigged? Come on now. Because if it was Deshaun Watson of Cleveland, Ohio, and he didn't play a lick of football, he would have been indicted. We know that. His money influences everything. We know that. So since that's even a public information that everybody knows that, then who's really corrupt? Is it the person who's doing it, or is it the system that allows those things to happen? I don't know if, it's almost like the Bill Cosby thing. For every woman who came out there, and I'm not saying that they did or they didn't, there's always going to be fluff. You know what I'm saying? So, if it was actually 5, 15 is going to come out. And then the other 10 are fluff. So it's just like Calvin really didn't really do too much to really harm the sports or deface the sport. He just betted on football. But Calvin has to be responsible and know that the NFL is tracking your every move of what you're doing on your phone. They're worse than Apple.
Well, my thing is,
or Facebook.
Or my thing was, I said, I don't think that he knew what he was doing was wrong. Because like
you're talking about him. You're talking about himself. Are you talking about himself?
Yeah.
Or you're talking about the league?
Yeah, I don't think. No, I'm talking about him.
He does. It's in your contract. It's just like we said it before the show. When you click on Apple accept, it doesn't matter. You still sign the contract. Regardless if you agree to it or you don't agree to it, you still sign the contract. So if they say that we are going to track your every movement of what you're doing, then that's what you agree to.
If he knew that it was wrong, he wouldn't have used his regular name. He wouldn't have used his name. He wouldn't have used his phone to do the bets if he knew what he was doing was wrong.
So you're saying he was ignorant to it?
To me,
so you're telling me he's ignorant to it?
He just didn't.
No, it's false. You can't be ignorant to something you signed. That's just like, hey, Brad, you went to go get a Bugatti, and you didn't know that, you just went and got it and didn't know that you had that Bugatti was $3,000 a month car payment. And then here comes the first car payment, and Brad like, oh, that's what he told me. He said it was $1,500. Oh, you didn't read that fine print. So he might have been ignorant to the point of not understanding what he signed, but he's a fool because he signed it. Maybe you should have got a lawyer or somebody to read it for you to make sure they're saying the do's and don'ts of that contract that you signed. Mm-hmm. He received the money, so that's what makes him get suspended. If he never received the money, then you can't suspend somebody.
I'm not saying what he did wasn't dumb, but also I feel like he was. I mean, it wasn't any harm in it. Like you said.
Well, some people say that. Some people.
His team. He bet for the team to win. Is what I mean.
So he had money to throw away.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't, but I mean, that's what he did.
I feel like that he shouldn't get. I mean, even though he knew he signed it and he agreed to it, I still like a whole year suspension is too extreme because they let a lot of other stuff go and happen. They let a lot of other stuff go and happen in the league. That's way worse than what he did. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Somebody made the joke. They said, "What's that dude that keep beating his wife, and he still plays every game?" But
what are you talking about?
I mean, Calvin Ridley. I'm not gonna say his name. I said, but Calvin Ridley gets suspended for a whole year for.
Yeah, but you just referred to somebody who beats his wife, but then you don't say his name. I don't know who you're referring to.
I mean, a lot of NFL players actually beat their wife. I mean, one that comes to mind, that middle linebacker that used to play for Alabama. Went from
I don't know who you're talking
49ers to the Commanders. I guess that's their name now. I mean, you know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about, but in the context of like you can't say you beat your wife and then your wife comes and drops the charges. So either you did it or you know what I'm saying? Like as I said, the action didn't happen, but if it keeps getting rebutted or gets,
I mean, in my opinion, in those things, I said if it happens more than 3 times, I mean more than once, honestly, but if it happens more than 3 times, you gotta be like, all right, he might be over there beating his wife.
Okay, let's relate to this since you want to say that. So the Ohio State Buckeyes had the said coach had a person on his staff from the Florida, all the way from Florida when he was an assistant on the Florida Gators. Followed him all the way up to Ohio State. And he was domestically known for beating his wife. But yet nobody didn't say anything because Urban Meyer was winning games, right?
Yeah.
See?
That's just the system. That's not a system.
No, that's the person called Urban Meyer. I told you I always said he was crooked. I never too much cared for him. I never liked him. The man had Aaron Hernandez on his team. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
They knew that he was.
Bro, we all knew that, man. Brad, you can't just say this man. This man would stay gone for like days, and that man wouldn't show up to practice till Thursday. What was he doing between Sunday and Thursday? What is he doing? Making drug deals, beating people down, and all kind of other stuff. And they knew what he was doing, but you didn't say nothing because you know why? We're winning games. But let's get back on topic.
Man, I just got a notification, man. Tom Brady's coming back. I know it's random.
Coming back to what? Now is Amazon going to buy him? Is Amazon going to offer him a contract like Kurt Herbstreit, which he should have never got a contract anyway, and offer him some TV deal?
It's going back to the Buccaneers, man.
Whatever.
It's gonna be a good.
I'm done with people who want attention, who draw attention to themselves, and they just whatever.
Well, he should have won an MVP last year. You don't retire after MVP season.
All right. Who won a Super Bowl? Exactly.
You know what?
All right. Let's go to the next subject because we're going down this rabbit hole of Kevin. Kevin's rabbit hole. Sponsored by Mott's applesauce.
Sponsored by Alto. Curiously strong, man.
All right. So the next sports subject for you is who are the upcoming.
I got it. Who? So we all watch the NBA. Who are you most excited to see develop of these young guys that's out here? You know, you have your Lucas, you have Ja Morant, you have Trae Young, and all these guys out here. LaMelo's playing amazing. The Hornets have a losing record, but they're the most exciting team to watch in the NBA for some reason. Anyway, so who in the NBA are you guys excited to see grow in the next couple of years? Also,
I don't watch basketball really. So I have no idea.
You don't know
No.
about these young guys, man.
No.
Another thing that I was one of the reasons why I was bringing it up because LeBron's 37, Carmelo's halfway out the league. Steph Curry's, I think he's 34, 33, 34. And I said, so we need to start preparing for the next generation of hoopers that we just be like, oh, this is the best player in the league. But right now it's like, it's you really can't see, or I can't put a finger on who's going to be the next up. I mean, like I said, you have Luka, you have Ja Morant, you have Trae Young, and that's pretty much who's up next. But they got to stay healthy. They got to keep doing this consistently, which I don't believe.
It's gonna have to be Ja Morant, and it's hands down Ja Morant because he's literally. I'm tired of Tom Brady. I just got that same notification. Anyway, I'm so tired of him, man. He's just like an attention whore. Ja Morant is probably the only one I can really say because he's actually uplifting his team and being able, and they could actually look competitive for a young Memphis team that, that we've seen Memphis come close to it, but they were just a Michael Conley injury away from, not being able to go far in the playoffs. They were, Memphis was always known to be a great defensive team. I wouldn't say Luka. I have to see a whole season Luka, but doing it by himself without, any other distractions that he had around him, and he has to really, I think, step up a little bit more for me to be able to. What?
He's averaging damn near triple-double.
Yeah, that's cool. But what do you have around you? You had the unicorn with you, and then he was a problem in the locker room and problem everywhere else. And the coach, and then Jason Kidd was like, "Yo, this dude gotta go." But what are you gonna do to help to missing that scoring that the unicorn gave you when he's not hurt? You know what I'm saying? So you got to have something to compliment him. We're talking about another LeBron James Cleveland conversation where you doing it all by yourself and you got some supporting roles. I mean, they're doing great on defense. Dallas doing great on defense, but I mean, you got to score too. So I'm gonna say Ja Morant because he's challenging everybody. You see this man dunking on everybody. That man, he's just pretty much inspiring that young Memphis team, and Memphis got a great coach too. So I'm gonna say Ja Morant. Trae Young, I can't say that because you going into the play and going into barely even making it in the playoffs. So now I don't even think they're even in the playoffs or going to be in the playoffs. So I can't say Trae Young. And then
there was a game behind the play-in team, who was the Hornets.
And what was their placing in the playoffs last year?
You said where was who?
The Hawks.
Oh yeah, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Final. And now you're just trying to be in the play-in. Go sit down, Trae Young. Ja Morant. Name of somebody else.
Brooklyn's in the same boat.
Man, Brooklyn in the same boat because Kyrie is too much like Kyrie. If Kyrie would stop, go ahead and just take that one shot and just call it good. It don't even have to be the real shot. We give you some saline and say it was the shot. You know that. If it wasn't for Kyrie doing what he's doing, you still would have had James Harden there.
Yeah, so, pretty much.
Yeah, so Brooklyn is at their own demise of one person not being available because due to COVID situation. You got one person in James Harden that got tired of being able to having to tote all the luggage because Kyrie can't take the shot and or doesn't choose to, which I respect him for not taking it. Cool, but at what cost? Now it's costing you getting from the behind, getting one, and then you picked up another knot on the log. So where y'all gonna go with this? Ben Simmons is officially done.
He's gonna play even.
Ben Simmons is officially done, bro. He's officially done. I'm gonna tell you something, man. We all been deployed before, right? We all seen things that other people don't see and did things that other people don't do, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tote the level of mental health awareness to people and try to judge it. But if I got paid millions of dollars to play basketball, and I had the facilities and the opportunities to be able to get the help I need to get. I know people on a daily basis who deal with their demons, but they still go to get up and go to work. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
So what makes
Damn
him
right.
any different than any of us?
I mean,
The man can't shoot. Westbrook right now, they are making fun of him, calling and well, Skip Bayless is calling him Westbrook. But this man's still going out there, still playing, is he not? Even though that they threatened and all the other stuff to him, right? So what's the excuse for Ben Simmons? We know you can't shoot. You couldn't shoot. From all the way from LSU, we knew you couldn't shoot. I'm looking at this dude like this is the most hyped non-shooter person I've ever seen in my life.
but he
You over
does
here
everything
practicing.
else.
You can practice with the greatest shooter ever. You over here you have Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver. The assassin. The 3-point assassin. That man can't help that man. That's in that man's head. So
Yeah. I mean, he's still
stop it.
an all-star
done.
level player.
How can you say that
Without-
if you've never played? All-star level players consistently play at the all-star level playing. That means you have to consistently be on the court and actually play. I can't talk about what you did yesterday and you didn't do it today.
Well, he's not playing now because he just didn't want to play in Philly. So now he's got.
Okay. No, it's just your feel. No, it's just what I call it. You are soft. You soft. You soft.
He's a great matchup against Giannis. Finally, have somebody that's fast enough or strong enough.
You only can say that if this person plays. You're just talking just to be talking now, Kevin.
But he
Because
will
this man
play.
hasn't
That's why
played. He hasn't played the whole
he's going to
season.
stay out for another week. He's going to stay out for another week. and
Okay.
then
His
he's gonna
back. Is it his back this time? Or is
Nah,
his feelings?
it's nothing wrong with him. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with him. He's just making excuses right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. We'll go to the next subject because we'll be sitting here talking about this weak individual for the longest or whatever. The next topic is for Brad talking about F1 Formula Racing.
Yeah, man. So,
Nobody watches F1.
yeah, I might be the only person out here that watches Formula One, but
Mhm.
it's very exciting. And if you ain't hip to it, I suggest you get hip because Formula One is dope. If you like fast cars and you like racing, then Formula One is the racing sport you want to watch. Fuck all that NASCAR stuff because that shit's boring.
Another left turn.
But anybody new to Formula One? I mean, it's a good show on Netflix. Not many F1 fans really agree with it because of how they portray things, but it's called Drive to Survive. It showcases the last, I think, 4 seasons, so 2018, 19, 20, 21, yeah. So 2018, 2019, and 2020 and 21 are the last 4 seasons on there. And for anybody new to Formula One, the 2022 season kicked off this past weekend with preseason testing in Bahrain, with the Bahrain Grand Prix next weekend. So Formula One is the highest class of international racing for open wheel single seater cars. So basically, it's the best of the best of racing. There's 10 teams in Formula One, 2 drivers per team, and that equals a total of 20 racers. So these teams and the racers, they compete for the drivers' championship and the constructors' championship. So basically, the drivers 1 through 10, you earn points for where you place on during the race, and then the teams, depending on how well the drivers do, they earn points towards the drivers' championship. At the end of the season, whoever has the most, they win that championship. Now, the reason I bring it up is because this past season ended in a lot of controversy. Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen. Sir Lewis Hamilton, let me get that right. The man's been knighted, so let me give him his due diligence. But Sir Lewis Hamilton, I would say the best Formula One racer of all time. He's won 103 Grand Prix, 7-time world champion, tied for the most with Michael Schumacher. So he's won the last, I don't know if it was consecutive, but I think at least 5 of them were consecutive. So he's won like the last 5 drivers' championships. So
individually.
the man's had a target. Right. Yeah, by himself.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm saying as an individually, like he's probably the point. He's probably the point of his team that's bringing the majority of the points. I'm not saying other people on his team didn't bring any points, but yeah.
But and by the way, he's the only black driver in Formula One right now.
Yep.
So and he's from England. But so he's got a huge target on his back. So he races for Mercedes AMG sports team. And they've won the last 7 consecutive constructors championships. So they're the number 1 team that everybody's trying to beat. Now, there's 2 or 3 teams that can kind of compete with them. One team being Red Bull, who is their biggest rival. They have 2 young drivers, Max Verstappen, who might be the next best driver in history of Formula One. Like, he has a really bright future. He's a great driver. But Lewis is my favorite driver. I could care less about anybody or any other team. But Max Verstappen won last year's Drivers' Championship in a very controversial last race. They were tied going into the final race, and some things happened, and opportunities weren't taken, and opportunities were taken, and they ended up being Lewis lost on some the race director interpreting the rules however he felt he could. So there's a lot of politics in Formula One. So it's very exciting. There's 10 teams, as I said: Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, AlphaTauri. So AlphaTauri is like the sister team to Red Bull. It's where they get young drivers and they develop them until they're ready to be on the Red Bull team. But you have Aston Martin, Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Haas. So each team has two drivers.
Did they used to have was Lotus ever part of a long time ago?
Yeah, Lotus was a Formula One team.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What else did I have? That's pretty much it. Oh, so there's 22 races 23 races in the season, but the Russian Grand Prix has been axed due to the political climate of Russia invading Ukraine. And side note, Russia has also been suspended from the 2022 World Cup and the Women's Euros. So they're not playing soccer. They're not in Formula One. So, and who is it? Excuse me. Haas, the Haas racing team, has a Russian driver. His name is Nikita Mazepin. His father was one of the title sponsors to his team, and they decided to cut ties with both of them. So he will no longer be driving for Haas, and that his father's oil company, or is it? It's not oil. I think it's what do you call that stuff?
Natural gas?
Fertilizer.
You said
fertilizer company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he has like one of the biggest fertilizing companies in Russia.
Mm.
But he was the title sponsor to their team, which is pretty much why his son got a seat on the team. But they cut ties with both of them.
I mean, was his
the
son
brand
actually?
will no longer
Was
be
he
on their
actually
car.
good?
No,
Oh,
he
okay.
wasn't a good driver.
Okay. So then, nobody's missing out on anything. Just the money.
No, not at So they took the brand name off the cars. They cut ties with him. He won't be driving with them. So he's out of a seat, and I forget who they got to replace him, but they replaced him already. And that's Formula One. I mean, it's a dope sport to watch, even though you got to get up early to watch it, because the races happen all over the world. Like it's.
I feel like
I
that.
think they have.
I feel like Formula One is like it's more of a international sport than it is like
Yeah.
NASCAR is like what for here in America. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, in America. Yeah, and with Netflix putting out that Drive to Survive series, it really sparked an interest for a lot of Americans to get into Formula One. And I mean, they have races in the U.S., like they have the Austin Grand Prix.
yep.
So they usually have Austin, and then they just built a circuit in Miami. So it's about to start getting a lot bigger.
Yeah, just
in the U.S. Hopefully, but it's not like you're about to pay like $100 and some dollars or $200 some dollars to go see a race. Nah, this is thousands of dollars to go see the race. So it's not a cheap sport to go watch. That's why I'm gonna keep watching from home.
Yeah, they have had the Circus of America where I just came. I was out there doing an event out there for it was like I was setting up a concert out there. But yeah, it's legit. Like I heard Circus of America is pretty just like legit. Like they always had the events here in Austin or whatever, and it's been a lot of money poured into it, man. It's a lucrative business, man. So
and Formula One is definitely a moneymaker.
It is. Definitely it is. And you can tell it is. Like, even if you look at it, remember that Iron Man movie with I think it might have been Iron Man 2 or whatever, when they had there was in Monaco. That's what I always think of. That's like I think of
Grand Prix.
Yeah. I always think of that when I think
Monaco hosted the first Formula One race.
Yep. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's not like this like the setup of the standings and like the polling and everything is the same as NASCAR, but it's the difference between it is it's like it's a more of a lucrative sport in Formula One than it is NASCAR. Now, don't get me wrong, NASCAR does bring some money, but not like the F1 money. You know what I'm saying? It's like a whole nother echelon. Yeah, because when you start talking about McLaren and when you talk about these big names like Lotus and Mercedes and Ferrari and all the rest of this stuff. Yeah, like all these movies that you done seen, like even when when Ford tried to go in there and compete, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different echelon, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a whole nother level of racing, period. You know what I'm saying? Even you seen how you see. I guess you going from NASCAR to going to F1 is like not the easiest thing to do. Like it's easier for you to go down than go up. You can go from F1 to NASCAR and it's okay and it's cool, kind of frowned upon, but going up from NASCAR to F1, first of all, you have to know somebody, you have to be a good driver, and then somebody has to really sponsor you to back you up to do that. A lot of people don't want to do that. And the concept of the vehicle is, once again, it's not even like NASCAR is NASCAR, F1 is F1. It's the design of the car is different. The turns are different. It's not like like you said, one big. Yeah, it's not like left turn. It's not that. It's
you have to put thousands of pounds of pressure into the
one.
to actually get the car to stop.
You take you. I mean,
1 foot.
yeah. I mean, how many times have you seen F1 when somebody was like, "It's coming around the corner"? Oh my gosh! And this car just takes the one little wrong little shift, and then now it's like a
Yeah,
paper mache. It flips. Pop, 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 pop.
yeah. Their margin for error is
Minimum.
thin.
Yeah. You have to
It's
know what
paper
you.
thin.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You have to know what you do. Even when you're watching them
and
doing it when it rains. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, I don't know how,
uh-uh.
because when it rains and then they're behind each other and they're getting sprayed in the face, I don't know how they see where they're going.
I don't
know.
either. It's
awful.
well, it's a good. You have to have a great pit crew
Oh yeah,
to like.
See,
You have to like. It's almost like they're your eyes, and they're your eyes of what's going on out there. And that's why I said it's very important to have a good team, not just the driver. You know, like what you said, like the driver you were mentioning. It's not only he's great, he has to have a great team with him
oh yeah,
for him to be that successful. And the spotter is the main course of everything. If you have a great spotter in F1, you are like you can literally close your eyes and he'll literally be your eyes for you. He or she or whomever. So yeah. But I know it's boring you, Kevin, because you don't watch F1. I watch F1. Didn't Amazon have a something with F1 too?
yeah. Like they have a couple shows. I don't think it's actually a show, but they're like more like documentaries.
Documentaries, yeah.
And then there's a movie with one of the Thor.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, it was talking about the when Ford tried to do the GT. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that movie.
Yeah, but what dude played Thor?
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemingway. Hemsworth.
Yeah, Hemsworth. Yeah.
So Chris Hemsworth, he plays. Have you ever seen? What's it called? I'm gonna look it up real quick. My apologies, I'm not prepared.
Listen, it ain't boring. Y'all making it seem like I need to start watching F1 out here.
You should.
You should.
It's definitely a dope. It's dope, man. I'm telling you. Oh, so it's called Rush. He plays Nicky Lauda. So Nicky Lauda was one of the best Formula One racers ever. And he plays him. Or no, he plays James Hunt. Sorry. Chris Hemsworth plays James Hunt, who was also a good racer, but James Hunt and Nicky Lauda had a rivalry while they were drivers. One race for Ferrari and the other, I think, was McLaren. Yeah, so he actually raced for both Ferrari and McLaren, so they might have been teammates. But it's a good movie. I'm gonna have to look up the Amazon ones, but there's definitely some good documentaries out there about F1. And if you ever find yourself bored on a Sunday morning, go ahead and find F1 on ESPN2. It's usually on there. I have F1 TV because I definitely watch every race. I watch the qualifying. I watch the practices. So I'm in there. I watch it all.
Yeah, I think also too. What we're gonna also do is we have like the I gotta revamp refix the episode list. Inside the episode list later on, before the next list comes out, we'll try to do our best to try to get these links in the comments as far as for like references and what to watch it and where to watch it at. So. Yeah. We'll just, we'll just do that or whatever. If we don't have it on hand, we'll just come back and just send the links and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it on that point. I guess we're gonna go into this next segment for Brad. The next segment for for Brad is let me see.
So. I just call it Black Men and Self-Care.
Yeah, this is a segment. This is one of the segments that I like kind of like try to like the pride and joy of the show is the segment on I always said this is like the transparency and the awareness. Transparency and awareness is like very important. It's like kind of like me and Brad's kind of segment or segue in the segment to like kind of put it out there to like make people we have to be accountable for what we do and what we say and how we go carry ourselves as men. And
When
I
I
just
read
feel
this, when I read it, I said, "Is this a jab at me?" He
no,
said,
it's no
"Men with
jab.
self care."
No. It's
That's
not a
messed up.
jab. It's just a understanding of being aware of what we are as men, and especially as men of color. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you do identify yourself as, but just being responsible and kind of like just being able to just like I don't know, just being accountable and being transparent about the awareness of what we have going on around us. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a very important topic to talk about, and we're gonna go with Brad's topic of talking about like you said, black men and self care. So go right ahead, Brad.
Hold on, give me 1 minute. All right. So most of what I'm about to talk about is from an article found online from verygoodlight.com called Black Men and Self-Care. But they touched on a few points that I'm going to just throw out there. So it started like with the help of social media movements such as hashtag BlackBoyJoy and hashtag WeAreGolden, black men have been challenging the societal narrative created by white patriarchal culture and lack of representation in the entertainment industry. So this article the beginning part was just talking about how the lack of representation of black men in the industry and people of color in general is just it perpetuates a stigma about people of color in regular society. Like if we don't see ourselves on the big screen, if we don't see that representation, then who are we? You know what I mean? So, according to IndieWire, the top 100 films of 2019, 34% were leads or co-leads. 34% of the co-leads, 34% of the leads and co-leads were people of color. Directors, 80% of those in 2019 also, 80% of them were white men. So that tells you, like, this is how they force black men and other people of color to play into a system that portrays us as stereotypes and typecast roles. And then it goes into seeking help. According to the American Psychological Association, 86% of therapists in America are white. Black therapists only make up 4% of that population. It matters who we talk to. Speaking with someone that doesn't share the similar experiences in regards to growing up as a person of color and the challenges we face every day really can affect that relationship with your therapist. Like, if you don't understand, like if you haven't been where I've been, you won't understand what I'm going through. You don't necessarily have to have the same exact experiences, but if you never faced any type of like adversity because of the skin of your color, you would have no idea what I'm talking about or what I've been through. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
And then
I think it's just more like, especially like, you can experience something where if you've never been pulled over and you feel like that your heart is inside your throat and not knowing what the situation going to go in that moment in time, how can you be able to give me advice about this if you've never been put in that position? Exactly. Now, I'm not discrediting people as therapists, but I think as therapists, and we can't discredit them, it's more of try to take yourself out of yourself and listen to that person. And that's the only way that you'll truly be able to comprehend. I didn't say get, to comprehend on what the matter is and what the situation is. We have to look at it as a society, what's going on TV. Not just on what's going on TV, because the TV just is a mask in itself. where it's not going to truly tell you the true counterpoints of what's really going on. We just now start seeing it. All these, people with these new organizations and these protests and having an understanding. But it's almost like a movie I seen the other day was called like it was portraying in the civil rights era in Louisiana, and they call them deacons for hire. And they were doing, they were practicing the violence part of the nonviolence that other demonstrators showed. And, it's one of those segues where you got to understand, like you say, yeah, you can't meet fire with fire, but sometimes you have to meet fire with fire.
Yeah.
But
Because
I always tell people, yeah, so like you have to understand, like, if you're going to pull me out of my house and put a gun to my head and have the possibility of shooting and killing me, so do I just allow that to happen, or do I do anything about it? Where that's where you, like, as a person or as a human being, do you or do you not have the right to defend yourself at any means, by any means necessary, to where you've tried to de-escalate the situation and it's still a hostile situation? But I'm gonna let you finish, man. I don't want to get on the soapbox on that.
And then the last part of the article. So basically, they interviewed, I think it was five professionals, 5 black professionals, black men, and they just asked them what they do for self-care. But I'm just going to take a synopsis of what I gathered from the article. So what self-care actually means. It's a very simple concept that has a different meaning for everybody. There's no one answer for self-care. It can be from affirmations during your daily hygiene, skincare routines, to diet and fitness, yoga, whatever you want to do. Self-care is simply creating a habit of taking time to take care of yourself in order to be the best version of you. You could get dressed, like dressing up, getting dressed nicely, reading, practicing gratitude, praying, meditating, listening to podcasts, creating podcasts, something that inspires your creativity, keep you informed, or listening to music to decompress. Whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, take the time to revive and uplift yourself in order to put your best self forward. And that's basically what I think self-care is, and what it means to take care of yourself.
I mean, I think kind of this what this platform is right here is kind of like part of the self-care. Well, I'm trying to make it as part of the self-care, and it's not just like this is a people of color podcast only. It's just self-care and generally speaking of what we're doing, what we're dealing with right now as like the pandemic itself, and still living in it, and it's become the new norm of everything, because everybody has to deal with how they deal with. Everybody has to now. It's the transparency of everybody dealing with their actual demons, because they got to be by themselves behind closed doors, and and it's just tough. I'm like, everybody's went through their little cycle through the ups and downs of this whole scenario, not being able to move freely like you want to move freely. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that you're living in fear, you're scared, but you're also being aware of, using common sense and being self-awareness of what's going on. You only could do, I'd say this, I only could do things that I'm comfortable about doing, period. And then I can't speak for anybody else. I only can speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? So like, traveling, moving around, seeing family members and all kind of other stuff kind of all takes a toll on, being able to, what's your self-care at the end of the day? What is your coping mechanism? What makes you, motivates you, guides you, get you still continuously on the grind to make everything work for you at the end of the day. So everybody has their own different niche. That's why I don't judge people. Well, number one, you're not supposed to judge anybody. God's only one, in my opinion, to judge whomever, how they get through it or whatever, as long as it's nothing that's like going to take you up out of here. It's just, to me, it's like everybody has their own niche, and we all have to find our way and navigate our own way through life as it is right now. and then having to worry about other things is kind of added stressors. That's why us as people of color have like the most high risk on health and everything, is because it's not what people always eat and do. It's just stress by itself causes stress on your body that is more than other people have to endure, which ends up doing is just like if you go and drive a car around and your oil light comes on and you just keep driving around, what's going to end up happening? That motor might end up locking out. But sometimes I might not have time to go get this oil change because I still got to do this, that, and the third, and I can't take that moment of time to decompress, to think about my own self-care. And that's why I was like, it's almost like the sharing part of like, all right, Brad, what is your self-care? What do you do for your self-care, for yourself? Because see, this is the point where I'm coming at in a conversation where us as people of color, we don't talk about our issues and our problems and situations of what we deal with self-care, because some people can see you down spiral and be like, oh, I'd never see you like this, or I'd never see you fall like this, and what's going on? And I'm over them. It's almost like, Kevin, it's almost like the meme with the dog in the fire in the burning room and saying everything's okay, but it looks crazy, but I'm in control still. Yeah. But you think it's chaotic. But allow me to quarterback this and let me do what I need to do to get where I need to get to, because I see the bigger picture. You just see what right now is. I see further along than that. That's why I said, as much as that anything that happens and goes down, as far as for myself, you would never know unless I told you. And I'm not saying and then that's why I said the self-care is also too is self-preservation, because you don't want to tell everybody your business because everybody doesn't know how to handle it and talk about it in a proper way. So Brad, what is your self-care? What do you use as your self-care mechanism to get through when you get through some hard times or some tough times or during the times during COVID?
So just not every day. So I have a skincare routine that I do every week. Every day I'll wash my face, use my moisturizer. That's the basic stuff. Mm-hmm. Then once a week, I do my exfoliator, moisturizer, wash it all. I do the whole thing. So that's one part. And then I'll go.
What about your mental? What about your mental self-care? What do you do for that?
That's part of it. That helps build a routine, a habit. And then just for the mental part, I read or listen to an audiobook. If I don't have time to actually sit down and read, I'll throw in my AirPods and listen to an audiobook. Okay. Because with a 6-month-old, there's really no time to actually sit down by yourself and accomplish anything without having to do something with them or worry about them or make sure they're good. So I just throw in my AirPods and listen to 30 minutes of a book or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure now, you see how much a dynamic of one thing is being married, newly married, and then when you have a child, it's another, you have more responsibilities upon yourself, and you have to, as a man, be as an adult and a provider and a partner, you have to be there to provide and support to other people, not on top of your own self. And people don't understand, that's once again, that's the other stressor that we having to deal with. Because me and you had the conversation before. I'm proud of you for doing it the way that you wanted to do it, as far as you didn't get married when you was in the military. You got married when you was in the military, but you was on the way out anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And you didn't do it in that's, people don't understand, being in the military and being married to somebody, it will show the good, the bad, the ugly of what you having to deal with on a daily basis, and then how you having to deal with the stresses from somebody else, and being able to balance all that stuff and still have to perform what Uncle Sugar wants you to perform as.
Yep.
So it's a hard way to juggle, but the way you did it is just you make sure that your child, number one, has a childhood in one place, not moving,
Yeah.
hopping, skipping, jumping around, and when Uncle Sugar tell you to jump around. You know what I'm saying? And you did it the way you wanted to do it, kind of Frank Sinatra that situation. You did it your way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what
Yeah.
I took. I mean, I when I seen it and I see what you was doing, man, it's very. I had to give you. I had to give you props on that one, man. And it's not easy, and it's not like you trying to portray everything's dandelions and leprechaun tails and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like
'Cause I mean,
it's still a struggle within itself, but not the struggle that you would have to deal with when you was like
yeah.
in your fifth deployment that you on, and you know how we rapidly deployed. Like it wasn't even no business by the business. Every other year, every 13, 14 months. You know what I'm saying? So
I wasn't dealing with it.
yeah. Now what was you gonna say?
I was gonna say people try to make it sound like it's easy. Like it's not easy at all to like have a family in the military. Like, and then when you're on your way out or when you get out, they're like, why 20 years isn't that long? Why didn't you just do the 20 years and retire? Motherfucker, listen, you didn't have to deal with it. Why don't you go see why 20 years is a long time and why I got out at 6? 6 years was too long.
Yeah. And then the deal about you is, man, like, yeah, I had to give it to y'all, bro. I did 7, and I did 2 different type of jobs, and to see y'all doing that one job that I had to endure for those 4 years, and I'm over here like y'all did the whole 6 in this one position that rapidly. How many times you deployed? Was it 3?
Twice, almost
twice.
Tried to get
They try to get you with that last. Just do it one more round. Come on, just give it that one more deployment. We'll let you go afterwards. Oh yeah, they'll try to do it to they Maxwell House. They're good to the last drop. They want to suck you dry.
They sent me and Ski to the commander of the post. I forget. I can't remember his name, but they sent us up there, or it was like it was him, the commander of the post, and tried to get him to try to convince us to stay for the deployment, or the commander of the cab, something, I don't know. But we had to go to Vision and meet with him to see if he could try to convince us to stay. Bro, they threw everything at us. They was like, you won't be a part of any platoon. You just be an AC. You only answer to like the first sergeant or whatever. I was like, bro, I don't care. I'm not going.
They were trying to get you these NBA deals. We'll give you a no trade clause, and we'll give you a bonus. We'll give you guaranteed a $60 million guarantee. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of deal. Like, yeah, they do. They'll do you some drug deals, but it's not worth it though.
No, not at all. It's selling yourself.
Bro, it's selling your soul.
I wasn't doing it.
Yeah, that's what I tell people there. Everybody's like, oh man, but you got your school paid for, this and that. I said, at what cost?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I was the one that could tell you that I made it from one end and out to the other, but what did it cost you? It cost a lot. You know what I mean? It pay the cost to be the boss sometimes. People don't understand how, oh man, you did 10, why don't you do 10 more? Okay. Well, let me send you to prison. And you do them 10, you do 20 years then. You do them 20 years. But you got paid. Okay. Just because I got paid doesn't mean that I want to do it. I can tell you from first experience because I got a bonus. I had the opportunity to go to AIT. I was in the BEAR program. The BEAR program was like, they don't have it anymore. That was like the last little ounce of drug deal. They're trying to get people to get in there. But you had the opportunity after you fulfilled that one part of the BEAR program, but you couldn't get the bonus until you signed up for the rest of those years that you were going to sign up for. So that means I went to Fort Huachuca for those 10, 11 months that I went. And then when I got out of Fort Huachuca, I had the opportunity and it was probably like September 11th when we graduated. I got to Fort Riley October. And then that coming up January, February timeframe, I could have got out. But then I was like, that October timeframe, I was like, man, why would I go to Fort Huachuca? Everybody know how y'all went through Fort Huachuca. I had to stay there for every year. That's like the movie Holes. It's desert, ain't nothing out there. You just out there. And then on y'all's end, it was different because y'all were like, AIT. I was like MOST. That means I was already MOST qualified. That means I was already been in the Army. So they don't have the restraints on us as they have it on y'all. And then having to endure that all day and have to deal with everybody's drama, everybody's BS. I feel like it could have been its own seasons, its own show. You know what I'm saying? And have to endure that and then come out just being like, I could have just been like, well, I got the training, so I can just I could have just went to go to a contractor and, been done with it. But then I was like, I can do 3 more years, I guess, or 4 more years of that. I just went on that. Man, my bonus was $15,000 for 4 years. It ain't worth it. If you look at it, even looking at it right now, even doing the math of how much $15,000 is worth now compared to what it was then, it still is not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's almost like I didn't, sold my soul for that little change. But see, I didn't get that $15,000. I ended up getting 11 of that. And then still it put me in another tax bracket to where I got taxed on top of that. See, people don't know that. They don't understand that. When you get that bonus, we remember some of them, that the people that we knew, that end up getting those big bonuses, those $90,000 bonuses, 60. You know what I mean? They were giving them NBA contracts in the Army level wise for these bonuses for 7 years, not 90,000, 7 years. You think that's a lot, but by the time taxes getting taken out of, and then that still counts as an income, it puts you in a whole nother scenario. So it's almost like, you almost had to get an accountant being like, all right, how much of this, I'd rather pay my taxes now than having to get hit over the head when the tax season come around, because I might not get anything back, or I have to pay money back to Uncle Sugar. So yeah, man, it's a thing. But unlike Kevin over here, he's the epitome of the hey man, I take every day by day, whatever I can take and get. And Kevin's story is a whole different another story. It was just like that. Kevin was given the opportunities. It was like Kevin was like the great person to be around, obviously, because they gave this man 17,000 chances, and it is like Kevin was like, hey, I'm ready to go any day, today, tomorrow, whatever, until y'all get tired of looking at my face. You know what I'm saying? So, me, I was, how I am. I'm too vocal, so they had to get rid of me real quick.
Oh yeah.
He knows too much. It's almost like the assassination of Malcolm. Yeah, we got to take him out. He knows too much. We can't do anything with him, and he has to go. And it was like that. You know what I'm saying? It was literally like that. Like you was trying to get me out the fastest way. I didn't, we're gonna get you for malingering. I said, bro, okay, that's gonna take forever today to find that. It's like OJ versus the people. You're not gonna do that. I said, I'd be out of the Army before you try to do all that. So you're going to let me sit here longer to politic even more? Because I'm not holding up. I told him to his face, the first sergeant to his face, I'm going to bear down even harder now, right? Because if you allow me to stay here any longer, I'm going to literally bear down on you. You know that, right? I'm not going to make it easy for anybody. I'm going to literally tell them I might as well be standing on top of the little stairs that the maintainers use to put the fuel in the aircraft, and talk to everybody. Don't do it. Don't sign up for this other one. They ain't gonna do it but use you. This is not the third. They're gonna but sucker you. And you got mad because I was telling people, but I was telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? But nobody they didn't want you to tell nobody the truth. It was like you knew too much or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and it's good. So Kevin, since you over here in Dark Knight Rising over here, what's your coping mechanisms, or what's your self-care that you use to get through your hard time mentally or physically?
What I like to do is drink alone in the darkness, pass out in the bathtub. It's a good time.
But are you being serious or are you joking?
Oh, I'm joking, but also serious.
So I feel like I don't know, Brad. For knowing Kevin longer than I know him, I feel like that he is one of those people who, his sarcasm is what he uses as a coping mechanism. He might be laughing and it's funny, but like, dead serious. Like, it was sometimes I worried about you. Sometimes, Kevin, it was like you was easygoing, but sometimes you was too easygoing. Like I'm over here, like, is this dude like he's drinking his sorrows away or whatever? And it was kind of like a scary thing, and I just had to ask people, being like, is this like a norm? Does he do this like all the time? And everyone's like, yeah, this is what he deals with. But it's like, I don't like ever want you to feel like that you can't talk to me or Brad. This is as annoying that you are sometimes. But like, you can always come and call us, you know what I'm saying, if you need something or anything, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, because that's like that's the most definitely problem is people saying that, oh yeah, I'm available sometimes. And then you call them and, and you can't even be reached, right? I can go to your house and you'll look out the window and still won't answer the phone, being like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like being there for one each other, you know what I mean? Being available, you know what I'm saying? I think that's I always tell people, how you gauge friendships over a period of time is availability. As much as people don't want to talk about it, that's what it really is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that you got to answer the phone when I call you every single time, but then don't be no call, no show. And then you calling me.
Call back.
Yeah, call back. Hey man, everything's good. You need something? Hey, I'm just, if you want to talk, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think that's just like, I always tell people, like, if I make myself available, I make myself available because I want to make myself available, not because I'm just saying that just to be cliche. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, it don't matter what time it is, what I'm doing. That stuff can pause. It ain't that serious. Your life is more serious than what I'm doing. If I'm working, I can pause what I'm doing. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, I'm gonna take a 15. Yeah, and go do and talk what I do. The work gonna be work. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there before, after, and during where I'm at. So just to let y'all know, either one of y'all, you know what I'm saying, or to like be able to do that, because I'm not saying like I'm older than y'all, but like I said, like I experience more stuff, but at the same time, like just because I'm older than you doesn't mean I don't have the same feelings or anything else like that, man. I go through the same stuff everybody else goes through. It's just learning how to cope and deal with certain things. It's just, it's out there like that. But the next was that it for your topics, Brad?
Yeah, that was it for me.
All right. We're going into another portion that I love the most, and what I've been like, what's kind of been inspiring me. I'm gonna talk about my self-care. So my self-care is looking and seeing and trying to implement generational wealth, something I can pass over to my kids, because I've already did. I've lived my life. You know what I'm saying? I've done what I wanted to do, but now it's like, what am I going to leave my kids? A will or a won't? I got to leave them something. What you say?
Sound like an old man out here.
Yeah, man, I can't leave you a won't, and you be sitting here naked out here in these streets. I mean, what can I give to you that you can give to someone else, and the giving keeps going? And then I say wealth, because I don't want to be rich. Rich, you can be poor tomorrow, but wealth is forever.
Yeah.
So, my where I'm grasping from this is, I talked to Brad and his brother before, and even more people or whatever, and I don't care about, I'd rather share knowledge. Knowledge is always to be spread, not held. Period. You should never withhold. It's really, in my belief system, it's really a sin for you to hold knowledge against somebody or not spread it to anybody else. So I'll forever spread my knowledge to anybody or anything that I'm interested in. And my interest has been, for this whole pandemic, has been trying to find different ways of building different ideas, small business ideas, period. And the article I'm coming from is coming from Shopify. and it's coming from the blog of Shopify from 26 best small business ideas of 2022. I talked to Brad about for what was it, about an hour, almost 2 hours, up to Brad and his brother about some different ideas and endeavors, simply because all of us are men of color, and then also too, we all are veterans too, so we'll be able to have a little more access to certain things that other people can't, or we have access, period. So we just need to kind of seize the moment and not just sit on it. You know what I'm saying? So one of my one that I'm really kind of focusing on right now, and it's kind of like the one thing that kind of builds off the other. You know, it's 26, and you know, I'll drop the link in the comments where you can just pick whatever 26 that you want to do. They all are good 26. They all are good, but the one I kind of gravitate to is the number 26, which is invest into vending machines. And people say, "Oh, yeah, that's, you know, you're thinking about some bubblegum type deal." Yeah, why not bubblegum? You start off small. It's a low income investment that could overall, you know, build over time. You can do this with your kids. You know what I'm saying? You can take your kid, you can buy a little bubblegum machine that'll cost nothing but $100 some. Fill it up, go to a place and say, "Hey, my name's Brad. I would like to keep this bubblegum machine here. I'll keep it maintained, clean, and maintenance on it, or whatever. If you have any problems or issues, the number's on the side of the machine. I give you my business card, and here we go." Now what you're doing is you're showing your kids, hey, you can start with a bubblegum machine and make money. Let's start from a bubblegum machine. Now you got 6 bubblegum machines. Now you got 7. Now you got 10. Now you got 12. Now, when you're showing them that, you're including them into doing it, because nobody wants to sit back and watch somebody do something. You want to be involved in it. Why not get them involved? It shows them how to earn a dollar, number one. Number two, it shows them that over a period of time, it's something that you can sit on and let it make money for yourself when you go to sleep. And a lot of people, like, they just don't have an understanding or have a goal. Like, how many times does somebody hits a little small lick, and you got, like, let's say you got, oh man, I got $4,000. Cool. Am I gonna, smoke it, drink it, do whatever I'm gonna do with it? Or I could just take out of that 4, take 2 of it, put it off to the side when I gain over a period of time and buy a vending machine. Now, what I know from, watching, different podcasts and watching different things on Instagram and how to really build your own business is ownership. And a lot of people don't understand that ownership is key to be able to be free of yourself and be your own boss. You know what I'm saying? At your own leisure, one of the podcasts I like to listen to, it just shows you how to, like, on Mondays, they have Market Mondays. Good thing to listen to. Like, it shows you, helps you how to, like, if you're into, I know we were talking a long time ago, Brad, about stocks and, trades and stuff like that. And what's the stock and what's the trade, like, what's a good thing and what's not a good thing, what's to invest, what's good, what's not. You know what I'm saying? And, like, when everybody trying to sell, it's not a good thing to sell because it'll come right back up. When everybody trying to sell, sometimes it's good for you to not to sell and just keep you where you're at and stay put. So investing in vending machines is a very unique business idea. It's kind of like, the money, to be made in vending machines. It's kind of like everybody's like, oh, it's a pandemic, so how you gonna make money in the vending machines? Well, it's the highs and lows. It's all about, we always say, location, location, location. COVID hasn't stopped these factories from producing, right? It hasn't stopped hospitals. Everybody's in hospitals. It still hasn't stopped anybody in airports from traveling, has it not? You know what I'm saying? And it's still, like, people still live in apartments. So that's one of those things where you have to go to a place that has a high volume, a high foot traffic that's going to be able to facilitate. Best machines are combo machines. It's because it's best of both worlds. If a business is asking for a combo machine, with 9 times out of 10 they will, you would have it already. And then you could be able to diversify your placement of, if you had 12 combo machines, you can kill two birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying?
So what's a combo machine for those who don't know?
Combo machine is it's consists of beverages and snacks. So like, you know, you have your Snicker bars or your chips, or if you're going healthy, if you want to do like, you know, baked chips or whatever your market is, or whatever the customer is asking and requesting to put in that machine, is a combo machine. So it could be drinks, it could be sodas, it could be muscle milk, it could be water, it could be, you know, sports drinks, it could be any of those things, including with snacks. So combo machines are the most sought out things. Yes, they're a little bit more expensive than just the vending machines and a drink machine. But I always tell people, start off with a vending machine, like a snack machine. Because number one, it's affordable. It's retrofitting, that you can retrofit the new technologies, like the NetTechs, like the NFC type of tap features on, like, people have mostly on their debit cards, and the, you know, and you can actually use the chip and then also the swipe that you can retrofit onto these older machines. Apple Pay, and then that right there goes into the, like, the newer machines that have a bigger screen kiosk that has Google Pay, Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, different type of other things that you could either use NFCs with your phone and just put it against it and just be able to pay for whatever snack. That's where we get into the sophisticated parts of, you know, getting machines that have those features on it. But I always tell people just to start off with a vending machine. If it's a coin or a dollar one, you know, try to fit a credit card machine on it. It costs like $300 to put one on there. And I'm not saying $300 like I'm just richy rich. I'm just saying, like, it's inexpensive. Like, as much as you invest into one machine, a vending machine, a regular average vending machine that's just snacks is probably cost you between, it could be as low as $500 all the way up until like maybe $1,400-1,500 or whatever. And it varies depending on where you get it from. If you win it at an auction, if you buy it from a used vending machine website or any of those, it's just good to do or whatever. Even if you don't have a combo, you just have a drink and a snack machine. That's better than having nothing. You know what I mean? Start off with that. Let that build its money in itself, and then take that money and invest it back into yourself. Invest it back into yourself. And when you invest it back into yourself, you use that business that you have and you build a net 30 with other companies. Great example. Like another, you know, we were talking about this, Brad, with net 30 company is a company who you can establish a business credit with those companies for free. And they are the ones who could track, and just like you have a credit with your personal credit, you have a business credit. And with that business credit, the necessity of the business credit, preferably if you're starting the way this is when you have your own LLC and your own business, what you do is it takes at least 2 years to build a good business credit for you to be able to get be able to go to an institution or a financial institution to be able to get a bigger loan to expand on your business. You understand what I'm saying? So net 30 is one of those things that is a necessity for a business credit, you know what I mean, for new businesses. It's so many businesses. Like I was saying, Uline is one, Granger is another one, Quill is another one. It's a lot of different bigger company. Nav is another one, another big, to do that. So like people don't have an understanding of what an LLC is, and then be able to make yourself, LLC is cool, but in the aspect of taxes wise, you want to file your taxes either into a C corp or S corp. Preferably, you'll do it in an S corp because you're not that big to be in the C corp category. You know what I'm saying? And then you can put inside your C corp or S corp and get into an actual. If people think banks have money, banks do not have money. Banks use your money. You know why your paycheck doesn't drop the way it doesn't drop? Because they're using your money. When you have an insurance, companies have the money. They have the money. So what you do is you go to an insurance, when you buy some insurance and you build up your company, in those 2 years, you have invested into that insurance company who is making more money, that makes more money than the banks, and the banks depend on the insurance company to back them. FDIC, what do you think FDIC stands for? You're insured up to what? $250,000, right? That's what the insurance is insuring them to. But the insurance is insured to the roof. There's no roof. There's no ceiling to it. So if that's what I'm just saying, far as for like your small businesses, and I told Brad before, if I would have known the information I know now, I would never make some mistakes I made. You know what I'm saying? I would never buy a car in my name, ever. I'll buy it through my LLC or through my S corp. But do I not drive to place to go do what I need to go to handle my business? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it gets even bigger than that. Like, you know, you can go into like having a net 60. That's like the next account that you want to get to. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like the acceleration. It's like you're trying to accelerate things. You know, the next is like you got net 30 accounts, you got net 60 accounts, you got net 90 accounts. You know, it's, you know, everybody like, you know, tries to stick with the same thing. Is where you can be able to have a Brex card, you know what I mean? Having as a business, like credit card, you know what I'm saying? And like the breakdown, like I said before, I'm going to put this stuff in the description. I know like I don't want to lose everybody, but I'm just trying to get to the surface level of like being able to tell people vending machine. I had my ex-wife's cousins have started a Bitcoin ATM machines. They bought one. They installed it to a gas station, paying the gas station $300 a month. You making more than that off of that. You know what I'm saying? You paying it for rent. Hey, I'm gonna pay you $300 to let this machine stay in here. I got a man that's gonna come by here and do maintenance checks on it, and I'm gonna be the one to maintain it. If you need any questions, here's my number, and it's on the side of the machine. That's another investment that you can go into. ATMs, Bitcoin ATM machines, they're everywhere. It's a good way of investment. Like even in this platform right now, that's what we're talking about now. We're trying to get sponsorships and we're trying to get different other avenues of revenue to like buy business that supports this podcast. You know what I'm saying? But we're not taking the money and I'm over here and embezzling it. No, we're trying to build you should build an empire out of something. You have to invest money into something and then take that money that you invested and invest it in something else and roll into something else to build a bunch of things to where you can, as a person, Brad, you can get paid just by you're spending your time right now. Right now it's the toil and the effort. It's going to pay off in the long run. If you think about the now, it's you're going to forever be disappointed. It's the later on is where it counts. So I just want everybody to kind of get that concept in your mind and take the small things to build into the bigger things so you can be able to, enjoy life and just be able to pass on something down to your children, your kids' kids. You know what I'm saying? So the next topic, the next and last topic that I'm talking about is going to be transparency, man. Being transparent, and it's not even just about it's in any relationship that you have with anybody is being transparent with one another. It's just it's different types of transparency. And the one I'm going to talk about is the radical transparency, in relationships, the emotional relationships, and even sexual relationships that people they take for granted, and people kind of weaponizes it. You know what I'm saying? So what do you use, Kevin, as transparency in any relationship? What type of transparency do you use in yourself in any relationship that you with anybody, friends, significant others, or anything to make sure that you have a clear understanding between another person?
I don't know if right. I try to been practicing on being empathetic. Empathy, seeing stuff from just other people's standpoint. Because the way that I look at it, like you said earlier, I'm a pretty easygoing guy, and I let like a lot of stuff just roll off. But not everybody's like that, and something could happen, and people feel some type of way about it. But I said I never understood how people could feel that way about it. But then I like have to sit back and look at them, and be like, oh, I get where you coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best policy. Is empathy is like I always tell people, is a key ingredient to better know other people's standpoint on things, and that's part of the transparency process. People think transparency is I'm gonna tell you like it is. I'm gonna tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
That's not like no, that's being toxic about the situation. I could be transparent with you without being toxic in the same sense. And telling people how it is just being reckless. I call it that's reckless transparency, where you're just trying to be like, I'm like, I got a wrecking ball, and whatever wall I hit it. Kevin, I don't care if I hurt your feelings, your grandma's feelings, and everybody else's feelings. I'm gonna tell you how I feel, but that's being reckless. That's not even being controlled. You know what I'm saying? So, in a sense of when people hear radical, they think it's like, oh man, it's like extreme. But what I'm saying in radical sense, in a sense, is you're just like, radical transparency is a way of relating to your partner in which you reveal your inner self, your true experience. That means exposing your vulnerabilities, your fears, as well as your desires and points of views, like you were saying, Kevin, about whatever issues that you're discussing. You know what I'm saying? And what's hard about radical transparency is you don't know later on, or you would hope later on, that person wouldn't use those radical transparencies against you to weaponize those vulnerabilities that you have in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's very hard to be transparent with some people, because it's very hard to trust people sometimes to be able to safeguard and safekeep your vulnerabilities. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a hard thing to do sometimes. But I feel like that radical transparency is like a necessity in life to anybody's relationship, intimately or spiritually, or with your significant other. And it definitely is important to when you raise your kids, being radically transparent with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like the lack of, you ain't trying to sugarcoat stuff for them. But at the same time, I'm not going to try to give you this whole thing because you're not ready for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a balance. I think transparency, it keeps that balance in any relationship that you have with anybody. That's like, managing careers, raising kids, paying bills, you know what I'm saying? Interacting with different people that you never interact with. You know what I'm saying? Like conflict of, power struggle and in an everyday life. It keeps you from hiding out and consider your thoughts and feelings. It just kind of doesn't allow it to drain on you, because when it comes to a point where you need to tell me something that's important to you, like you said before, Kevin, is empathizing. How would I know how you feel unless you didn't tell me straight up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. But to me, to understand, like you said, taking myself out of myself and looking at it from a whole different vantage point. You know what I'm saying? Like dealing with stuff like that. So, Brad, how do you, I guess, your practice of radical transparency, or just transparency in period or whatever, because we know Kevin's an easygoing person, but as for you, you're like a quiet, reserved type person. Like you kind of like, you just kind of like, you don't try to rock the boat. I'm not saying that you just like, I ain't saying that, you're not a simp. I'm just saying like, you'll try to avoid stuff to a point where it's gonna just like, you try to avoid unnecessary BS. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, you are transparent with people, and just like you have that, I call it the Brad solemn look of, yeah, I don't like that shit. And no, I'm not gonna do that shit. And he was like, damn, is he an ass? No, He's just being transparent with it. He don't just go around and go along with the program. But at the same time, if he knows that you're like you're not a young cobra where you just spitting out your venom just at any point. You're a reserved type person. You know what I'm saying? So how does that type of transparency, how do you be able to do that? I guess now, since especially I'm going to come to you as newly married and having a child now, how does that translate being radically transparent or just being transparent in period? And you don't have to share if you don't want to, but just like on a whole nother aspect, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure it's vice versa too. Like you said, it's a two-way street. You know, I'm not sitting here saying that I am Dr. Phil of the relationship situations, but over the years of learning and understanding myself and me interacting with uh, my, partner or, my wife or either one of my wives, I've already been like, dang, I've been divorced twice. And like, I understand, like, you had to learn yourself to see what you're doing, how you doing it. And you going like this, you're a nasty motherfucker, bro. Wait, what? You could have cleared that stuff up, and it's like very, and it's like practicing that, especially with your kids, because don't just say, "Hey, Kevin, go over there, reach around on there, get that spoon over there. Which one, the big spoon or the small spoon?" And that's specifics. You got to tell me which one you're talking about. It's like you had to tell your kids, "Hey, go pick up your room." Yeah, I go in there and be like, pick up all this paper in this floor and go in when you're done with the floor, picking up that, make up your bed and doing all the rest of the stuff because I'm specifically telling you what you need to do. Because now I don't know what you're talking about unless you tell me or you point it out and show me. So it's like you said before, over communicating is better than not lack of, because it's almost like you said, and she was like, "Hey, I need you to go to the store and I need you to go to the store and pick up some milk." Like, okay, when I think of that, right now I'm watching this movie right now. You mean like right now? Right now, or after I'm done with this movie? Like, because I don't know. I'm asking her that because she might need that milk for for something that she's cooking. So then I need to pause what I'm doing and need to go get this milk and bring it back. The movie gonna be there, bro. It's gonna be there, but they have to. It's also a two-way street. Yeah, exactly. And then even now, it's not saying like, oh, you should be a slave or a simp or something like that. But no, like it's understanding on both ends. If I understand that you're cooking and you're doing exactly, it's not like I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you, Kevin, go in there and get some eggs. And Kevin just being like, all right, I'll get them eggs when I'm getting them eggs. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, all right, you want to get those eggs? You need them right now, or you need them later on? Okay. And then that's what it is. And over communicating is like the best policy to keep down a lot of rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? It keeps down a lot of drama. It keeps down a lot of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think also like this transparency between your, not just only your significant other, I think transparency with your friends is the most key ingredient to everything. And actually acknowledge it and not be so self-absorbed and self. Because I know that you have a child and a wife. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, let's go to the strip club. You know, let's go to this place. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude got a whole family. I'm not gonna ask this man to do something out the, you know, that's not him anyway. It wasn't you. That was your scene like that anyway. So I wouldn't ever ask you to do something that's out of your element anyway. That's just not me. I want people I'm with. You don't have to do all this extreme stuff to befriend them because you didn't meet that person. I didn't meet you in the strip club when we were sitting there and throwing up ones and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I met you in a whole different atmosphere. So you have to understand where you met that person at is not always where that person is always going to be at later on in life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the most important thing, and having that balance between having single friends and married friends and, you know, business friends and stuff like that. Learn how to, you know, navigate through anything, you know what I'm saying? Period. You know what I mean? You know, now we know today that Kevin likes to take naps on Sundays. You know what I mean? At 1:30. This is what he does. He oversleeps sometimes. So I can't really get mad at him because he went to sleep. But I can't be transparent with him being like, okay, if that's not a good time, is 5, Central Standard Time good for you? To where, you know, it's not extremely late, but I don't want it to be late because everybody has work on Monday morning, and I don't want to interrupt anybody's their flow or what they do. Because maybe on Sundays you might like kick back, chill with the family, watch a movie with your wife, you know what I'm saying? Or just chill back and kill back till Monday come back until Monday morning comes. You know, Kevin, you might like sit there and watch your anime and, until you fall asleep. And then, here comes Monday and you start your whole week over. You know what I'm saying? So I think transparency is also understanding and also, and I think another thing is, for me, it's like having an understanding of accountability too. Being accountable for like, all right, man, I ain't shit. And I know I wasn't shit when I did that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be accountable for it. You know what, Brad, I wasn't shit. I should have did that better. X, Y, and Z, how I'm going to fix it. It's not, I always tell people, it's never about the problem that you did. It's all about how you're going to fix that situation to make it right with yourself and with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important about transparency and accountability. And we have to take the accountability. And accountability is that big horse pill. Sometimes you over here being like this. Sometimes I never thought it was a day I'm gonna be saying call myself a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like that was some really bitch ass shit I did. You know what I'm saying? But owning up to it and taking accountability for it and being like, when I said that, how did that make you feel? You know what I'm saying? Or how I did that, I went about it the wrong way. And it's kind of like making you self-aware of what you say before you say it. I'm not gonna come at you like, if I'm mad, I'm not gonna come and if I'm walking away from you, just let me walk away from you. Don't chase. Like my dad used to tell me, don't ever chase behind somebody who's mad because, hey, that person go back and give you the Andre Agassi, the backhand. Hey, man, you should expect that because you got to leave that person some time, space, and opportunity to be able to diffuse themselves, to be able to better approach the scenario. But yeah, that's really about the article about just being like radically transparent, between, for lasting emotional and even for your partner, like sexual relationships, you know what I'm saying? Because like, shoot, sometimes you might be, bro, I done went to work, bro, I'm tired. If I could give you 20%, I wouldn't have no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about knowing your partner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't work, she don't work, the baby there, that's you already know. That's a factor. You already know that, DB gonna demand that time. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of you wanting it or not, he'll let you know. Hey, I'm hungry. Hey, I just want you to hold me. Hey, I'm just whining just to whine. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you already know, like it's that balance of understanding that you have another person who depends on you, and at the same time, yes, y'all do need y'all's time together. as a couple. But at the same time, it's a time for this and it's a time for that. So I appreciate y'all guys sharing and being open to sharing with each other, with one another about what's going on. It's just, the topics we talk about, it might be sports, it might be music, it might be whatever, relationships or whatever we talk about. But I just want everybody to know like that, this is pretty much what you're going to be getting from this podcast, and you see what you get and you get what you see. So, we're going to try to add some more people to the roster, but right now it's just kind of like this is the track one to the album or to the podcast that we're doing right now. Really, is trying to get it up on its feet. The more support that we can get from it, be greatly appreciated or whatever towards the end. And I appreciate you, Brad and Kevin, spending your time and making the time to do this, because y'all could be doing anything else but you here with us. So it's greatly appreciated.
What you doing?
Brad, I think we said it at work. We said it at work. We was like this: spring break. We don't have no spring break. Work is work. Work is work. Spring break. What is that? I said, that's what the kids be having a spring break. And they'll be like thinking, be like this. Yes, I do go to school. I know, Kevin, you still go to school or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, spring break is
long learner.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just to a point where, like, to me, there's no break on no spring break. I mean, I break when I break, but I don't really acknowledge it to myself until I have to pay these. Well, yeah, when you're a teacher. Oh, yeah, when you're a teacher, it's going to affect you.
Summer vacation.
Oh yeah, that's that's the work that's the life that you live and the choice that you made when you did that spring break, and those are big pinnacle points to you. As for me, only the pinnacle point to spring break is who I had to pay for day camp. Yeah, that's when they hit you up with the spring break. Spring break, I just pay for daycare. Man, y'all just yeah. Good luck with that, Brad.
As an educator, I will take care of your kids.
What's that? What'd you say, Kevin?
I said, as an educator, I will overcharge you to take care of your kids. No problem.
And that's what they do. They can take care. We got day camp, so they can stay at day camp. Day camp ain't it's more than what actually regular daycare costs.
I said it's $300 per kid to sit around my apartment with me.
No, that's nobody's doing that, because that's a consistent. You ask your kid, what did y'all do today? We watched One Punch, and then we talked to Mr. Kevin, and he explained the synopsis of One Punch. What did y'all eat? We ate bagel bites, and we had applesauce. We had applesauce,
and that's gonna cost you about $300 per kid. No, I gave them up. It's only been a week since I had one. It's all right. I eat sandwiches now. I'm trying to eat clean out here. Hot pockets and pizza rolls are the way to go.
Still eating that swine, brother? Still eating that swine, brother?
Oh, I mean, it's in there.
No, but yeah, I appreciate y'all joining in on here, man. And this is where we're gonna pretty much stop everything, man. And I appreciate y'all doing it. You're gonna probably see us. We're gonna try to do the podcast, play your part every Sunday, probably around 4:30. Probably around 4:30. Probably gonna be 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Next Sunday.
I'll be
we'll post.
I'll be ready.
Yeah, Sunday on Wednesdays we'll post it on the Facebook page. Hopefully I'll get the Instagram page and that's it, Instagram page up, and we'll post the topics by Wednesday, and then we'll be good to go on Sunday. So we're changing the time to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So
I already got one of my topics, man.
Okay.
It's time breakers.
Well, okay. But yeah, I greatly appreciate it, Brad and Kevin, for spending the time and doing this, man. Oh, that's perfect.